Okay, so now we're bringing James and Darlene back together as a couple. Now that's why I told you I had to take Darlene out of order, because she has a lot on there. So we thought was the perfect prom couple. I'm going to start with James again. Now, I think when I see a lot of vintage photos from about the 50s to the 70s, there's a lot of prom dates that are looking just like James. Ruffled, pink-colored shirt. We're talking about his shirt, ladies. We'll get to the shoes. So, but seriously, I mean, how many pictures? Did anybody go to the prom with somebody who had a ruffle? Well, James says he wore one, yes, in his prom, but okay. So, and then he just has on a tuxedo from the period. Now, the story about James' shoes. They just came into the Goodwill recently. James and I, literally, this is a true story. We were going through this huge, huge box. We call them range boxes, and they're that tall, and we store things in them. And we're storing shoes now for our glitter sale. So James and I were going through them, trying to find shoes for either the collection or for, I'll talk to you later about our glitter gala. And I think it was Lynn, she was part of this gang, and we found these shoes. And they were winkle pickers. Winkle. As in periwinkle, James tells me. So winkle, you pick it out of the shell, you pick the winkle out of the shell. So winkle pickers, in my shoe books, I couldn't find anything for men, but for women, again, they were those, again, very pointed shoes with the high heels. But these are men's winkle pickers, and very bright, bold pink, sort of a chartreuse pink color there. So James immediately snatched those up, and they fit him, and so now they're part of our collection, and James loves to show them to you. His date, Darlene, is dazzling in her electric blue silk taffeta formal. Of course, she has on her little mink stole. It's a lovely dress that was actually worn at a rainbow installation in the early 50s. So it dates from 1952. From a fashion point of view, the styling is especially interesting because it demonstrates the retro look into past fashion history for inspiration. Here it's got a bustle effect of the 1870s, and also that wide, full tea cozy silhouette of the 1850s and the 1860s. We had one box today that just had our slips in it. So this slip and the one that Alice was just wearing was in one box for obvious reasons. Darlene has on her head a little mink bandeau that goes with her formal. Darlene, why don't you unbutton your mink now, so that Lisa can see the lovely bodice of your dress too. Isn't this pretty? This is only the second time Darlene has worn this dress, and she loves it. Has her name all written all over it. Now, the dexterous shoes Darlene has on Springalators. So how many of you ever owned Springalators? You know what they are. So they're a mule, and they came out in the 50s. I heard Linda talk about the Beth Levine show. If you go, Beth Levine was credited by one of the people for inventing the Springalator. And the Springalator has a bridge in there of elastic, so that when you put your foot in it, it hugs your foot, so you don't sort of walk out of the shoe. So that's the term when you hear Springalator in the shoe. This one has it. That is the design of that particular shoe. They're very collectible. Darlene's, again, have that beautiful lucite heel, and they've got some rhinestones in them, and also the rhinestones on the toe. So we love to show off our Springalators. And this time it was with our prom couple, James and Darlene. Thank you. So did we forget any shoes? Did we forget to mention any shoes that you, other than we're going to have Electra bring out her dress at some point, and these are shoes. Anything that we forgot? The powder. Yeah. Well, yeah, I didn't. We could have had James wear some bucks, but I didn't. But they're truly, yes. I think if you think of Pat Boone, for example, he was notorious for wearing the white bucks. Ah, so she's playing into my hands. She says she kind of missed some patent leather shoes. So we have some more models. And anything else that you think I might have missed?
Yes. What about the wedgies?
Wedgies. I didn't bring wedgies because I didn't think they, but I found the other shoes to be more interesting, but a wedge was definitely